So the message regarding moderation and taking things in strides, taking things in small doses, that message is coming back up for re-examination. So I feel that, this is a pertinent message for many of you. What I feel happening is a lot of you guys are very, very social creatures. You thrive in a very dynamic environment, and you need a lot of interaction from a lot of people in order to feel, like engaged, in order to feel very emotionally fulfilled. And I feel what you have realized over time is that you tolerate a lot of people and their quirks, and you also tolerate people with differing opinions, with differing, agendas. And so you can be around them, but it's sort of like telling you to take people in strides, take people with a grain of salt, and learn to take people in small doses so that you're not overwhelmed by them and you're not irritated, by long-term exposure to them. So I feel like that's going to be very important for this month, okay? And especially for the next 2 weeks, because it's still your birthday time. So I feel that you're going to have to learn to take things in strides and especially not take things too hard. What I feel happening is a lot of you are dealing with an air sign. So this is an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. For some of you, this is a romantic partner. And for others, this is a family member. And I feel like, under normal circumstances, there is this immense love and mutual respect that you have for one another, because you're very stubborn, they're very stubborn. And so you have this mutual agreement that, let's agree to disagree, and things are harmonious for a short period of time. And then you interact for a really long period of time, and then conflicts start brewing between you and this other person. And next thing you know, they say something that might be construed as, offensive, and then you have your guard up, and then it escalates into conflict. And so you're going to have to emotionally moderate yourself, and you're going to have to kind of protect your energy around this person. So that means, taking them in small doses, okay? I just feel an element of two people who are very stubborn and who are very different minded. So lack of compatibility innately. There's just a lack of compatibility. You would do thing one way and they would do thing another way, and you have to learn to agree to disagree. So you can't really, have them influence you, because you know that what you're doing is right, and they likewise don't want to be influenced and interfere. So I feel like it's still an ongoing type of interaction that you have been trying to handle for quite some time, and it's a little bit challenging. I feel like one person wants a lot more solitude, and the other person wants to go out and about and, mingle. And so trying to find an activity that both parties can enjoy, it has been a little bit difficult in the past. So this is an ongoing issue that I see here. But I do see a lot of love and a lot of mutual respect coming into the picture. For some of you that are recently, have broken up and are single right now, like you have recently broken up within the past few months, I feel you are kind of cocooning yourself, like sequestering yourself, trying to, do things on your own. And I feel like finances and work are kind of like on the top of your radar. Meaning you've, skipped a lot of outings, mainly to put in overtime at work. You skipped a lot of social gatherings as well, so that you can wake up on time to go to work the next day. So I feel like you're being very, very responsible. And then you're also burying yourself in work, either learning new procedures, learning new protocol, doing things methodically or under the mandates of somebody else. So I feel that you're making, you're taking your work very seriously, and you're taking your roles and your responsibilities very seriously. Some of you are learning a new skill. So I don't know if it's in school or like in a vocational setting. You're learning new skills to upgrade your performance at work, or you're learning new skills to allow you to segue into or transition into a better work environment or a higher paying job. So you're kind of sequestering yourself, like isolating yourself, just to get the work situation under wraps and under control, which is really good. And I feel like if for those who have recently left a relationship, it seems to me like you have a kind of like a love-hate relationship with another person, where you both are, I feel like, very stubborn, and they might have said some things that really hurt you on a very deep core level. And I feel this sense of defensiveness between you and that other person that you have recently broken up with, where they were really blunt with the truth and it really cuts you deep. And then in retaliation, I feel like some of you might have given them a dose of the truth as well, a dose of reality, and it really cuts them deep. And it feels to me as if the relationship is over because too much has been said. And so you're trying to move on ahead and forge a new path for yourself and trying to, um, it's sort of like learning from trial and error. And in the next relationship, you want to still be honest, but you don't want to be abrasive. You don't want to be hurtful. And I feel almost as if that relationship needed to happen so that you can understand how to dish out the truth without it being too abrasive or too hurtful. So I feel like you're curbing back when it comes to your sense of, does this need to be said in exactly this way, or can I soften it a little bit? So I feel like you're coming into your own, learning to soften the message, learning to, I guess, like dish out the truth without bruising somebody else's ego. So I feel like that was a very meaningful lesson that was gleaned from that previous relationship that recently broke off. Okay. What I see here is I do see some solid friendships being rekindled. Either, you've been busy, they've been busy, and then both parties are coming back together. And there's a lot of social outings happening. So I feel like it might be birthday related for some of you. I also feel a lot of soulful, like heart to heart conversations that you are having with friends. I see a lot of friendships coming in, maybe because you're at the tail end of a relationship like recently, or new friendships being forged here. And I feel like a lot of reconnecting with old friends, reconnecting with people that you have been estranged from for a while now. So I feel like a lot of it might have to do with the fact that, they're really urging you to take people in small doses so that you don't overdose on, too much together time, and then the conflicts start brewing. So they say to get out of there and keep your distance a little bit as soon as the conflict happens, so that you can maintain that friendship without, without like having too much said. Okay. So I feel like, you're taking a step back, you're doing things in moderation. Finances looks very good. And I do feel like, a few of you, opportunities for promotions, opportunities for pay increase coming through. So we have some solid good things coming through. And I also feel like the main message, once again, small doses, moderation, okay, so that you don't burn out and you also don't like get irritated by the other people that you're dealing with if you're dealing with them for long periods of time and their character flaws start to show, okay? Aries, so let me just talk about this card first. This is 3 people in a relationship, okay? A little bit too crowded and very, very topsy-turvy, very turbulent. In the foundation is something that you come into this month already with the knowledge of. And we have here the Page of Wands shown up in the reverse, the 7 of Swords. This is a sneaky energy, and the 7 of Wands. What I'm feeling is this. I'm sensing like, the whole energy about some of you might be a third party in a relationship and you're doing some sneaking around. This is a very small minority, okay? But the energy is coming on strongly so that you can protect yourself. So you might not be telling the truth, okay? So I feel like you might be dating somebody, or you yourself are dating multiple people. And I feel like, there might be a point where you are confronted about this, or you are confronting somebody about this, and they're still not admitting the truth. So this is something that might already happen in, the past 3 months, or it's going to come through in the picture. But usually the foundation is something that we already know to be true. We've had multiple conversations about this with another person, and they're not relenting. If you are dealing with another fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, and I'm seeing a very strong Leo energy coming through with this spread, they're telling you that there's more that meets the eye. There's more to the story, and you really need to get at it. So I do see some infighting between like fire signs, like Aries dating another fire sign. Okay. In the past, what I have here is the moon and the Page of Swords. So both of these indicates a situation where somebody is withholding the truth, possibly a previous like partner from your past, or a person that you know has lied to you in the past. You might have taken them back because I feel like you guys, you do have trouble moving on too. And when a relationship is very turbulent, a lot of you might also mistake that for passion and love. Mistake, you know, the lust for love or the passion for the excitement. So you want to be very mindful about what you are attracting, and especially what you're settling for, because I feel like, you know, it's not the same thing, like infatuation and love, definitely not the same thing. And I feel like on an emotional way, like you understand what what I mean by that, and you understand when people say that, oh, it's just lust, it's just infatuation, it's not love. But I almost feel like in a gut instinct, like in a very visceral way, you might think that passion, chemistry, excitement, those are the things that make a relationship partner very desirable. And so you might get into turbulent relationships because you equate the excitement with love. And just be very careful about that energy, because I see like 3 people involved in a relationship here. Coming through the center of the spread, we have here the Strength card in the reverse and the Knight of Wands. Okay, so if you're dealing with a fire sign, this is somebody that is coming in and out of your life perpetually on an ongoing basis. And they really did hurt your self-esteem. They're hurting your ability to really trust your instincts, to really like trust that. I'm sensing like, you know, you might hear messages and they're like, no, you're just imagining things. No, why are you so suspicious? So I feel like somebody is running circles around you. Aries, please be very careful. If this is your energy, you're running circles around another person. And I feel like they're just going to be on their way out. So this is an X energy I feel like you guys are still involved with, and it doesn't look good. So I see an air sign and a fire sign. So Sagittarius, Aries, Leo, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And I feel almost as if your friends might tell you, why are you with them? And you're just like, well, A, B, C, and D, they have all these qualities. And I feel like your friends don't want to hear it. Your friends don't want you to be with this person. And so the energy with this 3 of Cups here, listen to your friends. They have your best interests at heart. And I also feel as if you need to be extra attentive. I have a lot of psychic energy coming through. And usually that indicates to me, you know, you really need to trust your intuition. Somebody's running circles around you. Somebody's feeding you some lies and generally being quite deceitful. So trust your friends. They want what's best for you. Trust the information that's coming through psychically. Okay. It seems like it's the same person, and it seems almost as if it's very cyclical. This has already happened before. It's not going to change. And I'm sorry to say, but you need to open your eyes up about this, and you need to learn to trust your intuition again, because I feel like they put you through the ringer and you're still open-armed, open-hearted, and taking them back. So please be mindful about this, okay, Aries, especially for those of you on the younger end, okay? Just be careful. Crowning this reading is something that you're thinking about. We have here the 9 of Wands as well as the 8 of Coins. The 9 of Wands indicates a person that has been through a lot of emotional turmoil in his or her past. I feel like you're making excuses for somebody, and you're just like, oh, you know, he's like that. He or she might be emotionally stunted because they grew up in an environment that's like this. So you're rationalizing the situation. And I feel like a lot of you feel bad as well, where you're just like, oh, you know, I understand what they're going through. I went through a similar experience, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. And we have here as well the 8 of Coins. So if you're not dealing with this right now, I feel like you dealt with another person in the past that really betrayed you, that really hurt you on a very deep core level. And you're taking the wisdom with you. You're leaving, you're abandoning this relationship, something that you worked really hard at. You try to perfect it. And you hope that the other person would chip in and do their fair share to uphold the relationship. And you might have realized it wasn't happening. It really hurt your self-esteem. It hurt you physically and emotionally. And I feel like you physically, for some reason, Aries, you're dealing with some, I don't know if it's illness. I don't know if it's chronic, but I feel like structurally, physically, you're not at your best this month, okay? And so you might just be like, I'm done with this. I don't really want to. And I hope you do that. Just cut this person out, because this is additional stress, emotional stress, physical stress that you do not need for this month. And you know who this person is. I feel like majority of you. And then others of you trying to move on from a very strong soulmate relationship that you feel is your soulmate, but they do the disappearing act. When the relationship gets rough, they bounce. They don't want to stay and work at things. They don't really want to invest their time and their resources and, their energy to meet you halfway. And so coming through in the future position, we have here a new person. We have here the Queen of Cups. This is a water sign. So a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio. That you are heavily, this could be like a new relationship partner, and it seems to me like a very, very good person. This is somebody who's caring, very loving, very nurturing, wears his or her hearts on her sleeve. They are a little bit on the naive side, but they're very trusting and very loving. And some of you might be juggling two options. You might be dealing with that ex, like a fire sign, or even juggling another fire sign, so a Sagittarius, an Aries, or a Leo. This is juggling two people. This is three people involved in a relationship. And some of you, for those of you who are, I'm seeing like this is potentially another person that is involved in that relationship. So, a water sign involved in a relationship with somebody that you're involved in. So there's going to be some information coming to light for this month regarding your overall love relationship. For those of you who are single and dating, we have very strong water sign. We have a very exciting fire sign, especially a Leo. I feel like it's not going to be, it's a very combustible energy. They're going to be in and out of your life. They're still dealing with an ex. They're not over it. So for those of you who are single and looking, you have a water sign here. That's a much better match for you. And you're fire, they're water. So there's going to be opposites attract. But I feel like this is a really, this person has a very gentle energy. And I feel that it can work, okay? The fire sign seems a little bit flaky. And seems as if they're still dealing with an ex, and it doesn't look good. So I feel like for the other narrative that I see coming through is you guys are single and you're trying to date. You still have people you still have exes in this cluster wanting to communicate with you. You're trying to move on with a new person. Once you make up your mind to move on, and my advice in general is, honestly, if somebody wants to walk away for whatever reason, they should not be allowed to come back in on their own time. When you're dating new people and an ex comes back in, give that new relationship a chance. And then if, for whatever reason, that new relationship doesn't pan out, you can then revisit the ex situation. But the ex does not get to come back in on his or her time, because that's very inconsiderate and it's interfering with your energy, with the other person's energy. So just something on an energetic level you want to be very mindful about, okay? Once you sever ties, make sure it is final and make sure it is resolute, Aries. There's a lot of gray areas here, and I don't enjoy reading when the energy is very gray. It basically means that you have the potential to do the right thing, but you're erring on the side of temptation. So be very careful, okay? Just be careful for this month.